Reporting live from Hunter Field headquarters, the number one sports show in the world. And I can say that despite it only being our first show, because everyone else says it, and there's no statistical evidence to disprove that it's not the number one podcast in the world. So, like I said, being the first video, when's a better time to post a first video than in the midst of the NBA playoffs? The best part of the NBA season, without a question. And we had some pretty good games yesterday. We had the first game was the Bucks taking on the Heat, and the second game was the Trailblazers taking on the Nuggets. And in that first game, it lasted 12 minutes. The game was over after the first quarter. This kid, Bryn Forbes, second game playing with the Bucks, put up 22 points. The Bucks ended up putting up 10 threes as a team in the first quarter, which is ridiculous. Put up 46 points. The Heat really had no chance for any sort of comeback. Giannis put up 31. Middleton put up 17. The Heat didn't have a primary scorer. Dedmon had 19 points. Dragic had 18 points. That game got chippy with Dragic. Dragic and Ariza, they tried to go at it with Middleton and Giannis, but they didn't get the retaliation that they wanted. But that game, the Heat stood no chance. The Heat had no effort after they were demoralized from that first quarter performance that the Bucks put on. I don't see the Heat putting up enough effort to make a true comeback and take this series from the Bucks. I think the Bucks did what they needed to do tonight and have a stellar performance where the Heat just got demoralized, and that's exactly what they did. And if they can get one game in Miami, I think the series will be over in 5. But if the Heat can get both of their home games, then it'll be a good series again. But I don't see that happening right now. But that's just me. And then we have the second game of that night was the Nuggets beating the Trailblazers. There was a second quarter for the Trailblazers. The second quarter, Damian Lillard went crazy, hit 6 threes, had 22 points in just the second quarter. But that wasn't enough because the Trailblazers decided, we're not going to play defense in the second half. They didn't want to play. They wanted to play defense for a quarter, and that was just fed off of Lillard's energy. On the offensive side, Lillard ended with 42 points, McCollum with 21. Norman Powell had a decent game. He had 15 points, but one player who didn't show up was Carmelo Anthony. After putting up 18 points in game 1, he only put up 5 in this game 2. Nurkic ended up fouling out late in the third quarter. And Jokic for the Nuggets put up 38. You had Porter Jr. playing a really good game again. He had 18 points. And then got a nice 15 from Millsap. He showed up in the second half. This is a series. I mean, game 1, the Trailblazers, in my opinion, snagged it. I don't think they were supposed to win that game, but they did end up winning it. I don't think a lot of people saw that game as, the Trailblazers have a chance, but they showed people they had what it took. And now going back to Portland, if they can get both of their home games, I think they move on to the second round. But if they get 1 or 0, I think the Nuggets have enough momentum as of right now to continue on. Unless Portland ups their defense, their defensive effort, that won't cut it. If they're able to snag by Denver, they'll have to step up their defense. And even if they get by Denver playing this sad of defense, they won't go anywhere further in the playoffs. So that's it for the NBA. In NFL news, we have one big thing, one obvious thing that happened yesterday in terms of trades, which Julio Jones was, in my opinion, caught off guard. So he went on. He didn't even go on undisputed. Shannon Sharp decided to call him on the show. If Julio knew he was on live television, I think he would have responded differently. But what happened was Shannon Sharp called him. He said, "Yo, Julio, what's the deal? You staying in Atlanta? You going to Dallas?" Because he had a picture of him in a Dallas hoodie or something. And he was like, "Nah, man, I'm out of there. I'm out of there. I want to go somewhere I can win." And I think personally, if he was on an interview and he knew he was on live TV, probably would have said something more along the lines of, "Yeah, man, just let it play out how it does. We'll see what happens, blah, blah, blah." But he was just being straight up with Shannon, because I'm not sure. I'm not convinced he was aware that he was on live TV. So he just had a normal conversation with them. So I'm not sure. And in terms of where he should go, I think obviously Titans would be a great fit. The Packers would be a great fit. I think Miami would be a really good fit if they can clear up some cap space. Any playoff team that gets Julio Jones is a playoff team. Except for maybe like the Jets, Giants. The Giants could even make the playoffs if they get Julio Jones, but they would have to give up a lot. The Falcons are asking for a first rounder, which if you're a playoff team, you might as well be willing to give up a first rounder for Julio Jones, arguably the best receiver in the league. And once you get him, your first round pick is going to be late 20s or even in the 30s, which is basically a second rounder. So if it were me, I would see, if I were in the Packers organization, I would go to Rodgers, because we have him coming up next. I would go to Rodgers and I would say, "Hey, look, if we get you Julio Jones, will you stay here?" And depending on his answer, I go out and make it happen. I give them pretty much what they want, except for, pass rushers, Jair Alexander, Adams, Jones, offensive linemen. I give them what they want, because if you have Julio Jones matched with Devontae Adams getting the ball from Aaron Rodgers, that team is going to be tough to stop. That's my best fit for Julio. I think that would be the Packers' best chance to retain Rodgers. I think the Titans would be a really good fit too. If they're able to keep A.J. Brown with him, you have a really good offense if Tannehill can perform. But I think it would be very hard for him not to perform well with A.J. Brown and Julio Jones on his team throwing to. So we had Aaron Rodgers on SportsCenter live late last night. I don't know if it was live. It might have been pre-recorded, but it was around 11:30 Eastern time. But we didn't really get much out of him. It was more or less what we expected. Him just saying the same old stuff. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen, and everything's on the table, stuff like that. Pretty much exactly what we expected that interview to go like. It was a surprise interview, kind of, but it wasn't much about him. So he didn't end up going to OTAs for the Packers yesterday, which was kind of expected. But that situation, don't expect to hear anything until after June, because that's when the Packers save the most money in their cap. So there's not much in the ways of... There shouldn't be much in the ways of trade talks for Rodgers until after June. So, NBA games today. We have our first game is the Celtics and the Nets. Second game is LakersSuns, and while that game is going on, we have the Mavericks and Clippers. So for the Nets game, I expect the Nets to take care of business. They're in Brooklyn. They took care of business game one. As long as two of their three superstars play mediocre for them, they're fine. Celtics need a 55 or 60 point game out of Tatum to even have a chance. They need another good game from Marcus Smart, and then they'll need somebody else to step up. They'll need Kemba to step up. They'll need Tristan Thompson to step up, and I don't really see that happening against this Nets team. This could very well be a sweep. I could see the Celtics getting a game when they go back to Boston, but as of tonight, I don't think for the game tonight, I don't think the Celtics have a real chance. The next game is the Lakers and Suns, and I expect the Lakers to come back. I expect them to come back strong and steal this game. I think we do have to see what's up with Chris Paul, how he's feeling, how he's gonna play. That shoulder seemed to affect him when he came back in that game one. He lost his dribble a couple times, but as far as the Lakers, they need to get Anthony Davis going. He needs to have good games. He needs to have at least one good game, preferably for the Lakers this second game, so that he gets a little bit of his confidence back, because he did not play well at all in that game one. But expect LeBron to do LeBron things. I mean, he's lost a lot of game ones over his career that he's gone on to win. He's lost out of the out of the game ones that he's lost 25 game ones in his career. He's gone on to win 21 of those series, which is a very remarkable feat. But he said before, he's just a game one's just a feel out game, just to see what the other team's like, all that stuff. But this Suns team is tougher than people think. I don't think people were giving them enough credit this year. Devin Booker, Jay Crowder was hitting threes that game. They played a really solid game, and I think they might be able to push it to 6. I don't see the Suns winning this series. I think the Lakers will get it in either 5 or 6. I don't see the Suns getting 3 wins in this series, let alone 4, but they could prove me wrong. But I don't see that happening, especially against what will be better Anthony Davis and will be healthier LeBron. And the 10:30 game tonight, the Mavericks and Clippers. I'm going with the Mavericks to win another game. I think the Mavericks will take a 2-0 lead against the LA Clippers. Why? I don't know. They played a good game one. I think Porzingis didn't play nearly his best. He played about half of his potential at most. Luka obviously had a great game, but if Porzingis will be the factor for game 2. If Luka can put up, his normal, whatever, 10 rebound, 7 or 8 assists, 30-point game, then and they can get some solid production out of Kristaps Porzingis, I think they're set. Paul George didn't show up. Kawhi Leonard showed up, but they're going to need more from him, because Paul George, he's fallen back to pandemic P. He's not playing like he should. He's not playing like an all-star, like he's supposedly is. But if the Clippers want to win, they're gonna have to shut down Luka, which is a tough task. Obviously, they're gonna have to have Paul George be a way bigger factor on the offensive and defensive end, and I don't see that happening for game 2. Game 3 and 4, they might go to Dallas and be rejuvenated. Who knows? They might say, "Oh, look, they took 2 games from us. We got to take 2 games from them." But I think this will end up being a 7-game series. But depending on the way this game 2 looks, I could see the Mavericks taking this series. So that's been the first video for Hunter Heald headquarters. Hopefully, as we continue to go on, we'll have a longer show. But if you actually are watching till this moment, that's crazy. But click the subscribe button, share this video with your friends, leave a comment, correct me if you think I was wrong. Yeah, thanks for watching.